Hey, what's up? Is it normal to feel like your hometown is boring? Is it normal to get bored of your hometown? I think the answer is yes. And I think the reason for me is if you've lived in the same place, especially in your youth, for a very long time, let's say 30 years, then you've probably seen every corner, every crevice of the city or town that you're in. And it's like, like the back of your hand. There's nothing really exciting going on at that point. You've been to all the things that were once exciting. You've seen all the landmarks. And it's just what it is, right? Like, there's nothing special about it. I think as people, we take things that we have in abundance for granted. And I think the same thing holds true for scenery, for nature, for architecture, even people, like the way people talk or the way people interact, the cultures, the little microcultures and things like that. I think we become accustomed to it, we're used to it, and it becomes normalized, essentially, and we become desensitized to it. Because there's only so many times that I can see the same landmark before it's no longer a landmark at that point, right? But when you go to a new country and you visit the landmark, even if you've seen it online, seeing it for the first time is a whole different experience. You can kind of really gauge how big it is compared to yourself or relative to other things that you internally have spaced out or measured. And yeah, I think it's normal for people to get bored. Obviously, if you live in a big city or a big town and there's lots going on, there's things always changing, and there's opportunities for you to find that excitement, find that variety, then I think it's perfectly okay for people to be content with where they're at and not get bored of the city they're in or town they're in. But more often, I would say that people seek out adventure. People like adventure, I think. And to have something new pop up, I think because we get to this point where our lives become so mundane, or not mundane necessarily, but routine. And there becomes a point where it's just like Groundhog Day, where you're just living the same day over and over. You know how things start. And some people like that, right? Like, some people like having a plan. They like their days to be scheduled. They like routine. But I don't think that necessarily does favors for boredom, because I do think routine can become boring if you do the same thing over and over for too long, and let's say without necessarily outstanding results. Yeah, but bottom line, I think it's normal for people to get bored of their hometown. Even traveling to different cities, I mean, if you're fortunate enough to have interesting cities and other towns to visit, I think that's very useful. I think traveling internationally is great for variety, and some people say variety is the spice of life. I do think it's normal for people to get bored of their hometown. I think there are ways to kind of overcome it, but if you're having that feeling, if you have that thought, I wouldn't be surprised. Certainly if you're on the younger side and you've kind of like grew up in the same place and you live in the same place and you haven't tried living somewhere else, then it would certainly pique my interest. I personally live in a city or town with a population of about 2 million people. It's not that big. There's not that much going on. I know there are some events here and there, but nothing that really piques my interest. I'm in a country that's a bit distant from other countries as well. So yeah, I think it's normal. Obviously, some people might love where they live. But yeah, I would say if you've been in the same town for 30 plus years, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.